Lawmakers in Poland have approved the accelerated construction of a €347 million barrier at its border with Belarus to help attempt to stop the increasing flow of migrants. The plan was proposed by the right-wing government and now just needs approval from President Andrzej Duda. Poland and other EU nations accuse the Belarusian regime of President Alexander Lukashenko of encouraging and aiding migrants from the Middle East and Africa to enter the EU through borders with Belarus. Warsaw says the government in Minsk is seeking to destabilise the whole bloc in retaliation for Western sanctions. Poland has built a razor-wire fence on the border and sent thousands of border guards, troops and police, but the measures have failed to stop the inflow.
The G20 summit is underway in Rome as leaders from the world's major industrialized nations meet. Among the topics being discussed is the coronavirus, with emergency workers invited to join leaders for a photo. Tackling global warming is also top of the agenda ahead of the COP26 climate conference, which begins on Sunday. Most of those attending the G20 in Rome will travel onward to Glasgow for that key UN climate summit.
Hundreds of protesters took to the streets of Bamako to demonstrate against the French military presence in Mali, calling for total withdrawal of French troops from the country. The protesters said France had encroached into its sovereignty, calling for its total withdrawal from the country. There is a tense dispute between Mali and its key military partner France over reports Bamako could recruit Russian mercenaries.
Tonight, just 1 week before jury selection begins in the trial of Ghislaine Maxwell, the former confidant of Jeffrey Epstein, her brother, Ian Maxwell, speaking out in an exclusive interview with Sky News.
It seems to me that Ghislaine has already been convicted.
Maxwell complaining about her living conditions in jail.
She is woken up every 15 minutes. This is a suicide watch, but my sister is not a suicide risk.
The former British socialite is now the focus of investigators as they work to untangle a complicated web of allegations, including aiding a sex trafficking network for convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. After Epstein's apparent suicide in a New York prison in August 2019, unsealed documents revealed allegations about her role in procuring underage girls for him throughout the 90s and early 2000s.
The Queen has cancelled 2 weeks of official visits after further advice from her doctors to rest. It follows preliminary tests in hospital, which still haven't been explained by the palace.
The monarch all smiles.
I'm very glad to have the chance to see you, if only mechanically this morning.
Holding a virtual audience just yesterday. The screen time will now continue for longer than expected. The palace releasing a statement saying Her Majesty's doctors have advised that she should continue to rest for at least the next 2 weeks, but she will continue to undertake light desk-based duties during this time, including some virtual audiences, but not to undertake any official visits.
The Saudi Fund for Development has deposited $3 billion in the State Bank of Pakistan. And that's not all. It has also issued a directive to finance petroleum products worth $1.2 billion for the next 1 year. So this is $4.2 billion in all in Saudi aid to Pakistan. This is much needed respite for the Pakistani government, which is in the throes of deep financial crisis, the biggest in their history. Pakistan's gross external financing requirement stands at $51.6 billion. What does that mean? In simple English, it means Pakistan needs $51.6 billion over the next 2 years to fulfill its basic needs.
It's a breathtaking sight, a pod of dolphins just 3 miles off the California coast.
Look at the dolphins right in front of us.
Suddenly, they see something else.
I saw what I thought was a hand of a human.
You saw somebody's hand, you thought?
Just like this. I don't think at that she didn't have any power to go like this. Just once.
College professor Kaz Khosravani couldn't believe what he was seeing. A naked woman floating in the ocean off the coast of Marina del Rey, California.
She had enough energy to just do this one more time.
Incredibly, this was Kaz's maiden voyage on the boat he had just purchased. And in a stroke of good luck and terrific timing and preparation, he just finished 5 days of boat safety training. The professor and his friends hauled the woman aboard the boat and covered her in a heap of towels and blankets. She was freezing and exhausted, unable to speak.
You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay.
The 26-year-old woman had gone midnight skinny dipping off Venice Beach and was swept out by the current. She was in the water for 12 hours.
I don't think she had much longer.
Kaz believes the dolphins may have actually led his boat to the woman.
They really directed me to her. I would have never, ever seen her if it wasn't for the dolphins.